ready to be the hero. And speaking of heroes, Dame Lillard goes off, blows past 50, and doesn't look back while the Lakers implode in Boston. Your night in the NBA on the way as we get up with you starting right now. We are jam-packed as we count it down to South Florida, and the Super Bowl is getting ready to go. But we will start with a performance last night worthy of, will you guys stop that? I don't want to have to separate you. Come on, RJ, let's talk about what Damian Lillard did last night.
Jeez.
Portland hosting the Golden State Warriors, and we're going to pick it up late in the first half with the Blazers down 7, but Dame Lillard showing all kinds of range.
One thing that Damian Lillard said at the end of this game is that every point was needed. And so it wasn't a 60-point fluff game. His team needed every one of these points. You look at this, down 2, big 3. They were trailing most of this game. Look at him. He knows what time it is. Everyone knows what time it is. It's Dame time.
He had 48 at that juncture. Now here he is late in the going with a step-back 3 with 21 seconds left. He's got 54 points.
Again, that's what I said. Every point was needed. Here, they're down 3. A sidestep fadeaway 3 to his spot. That's so impressive.
And to overtime, he sends it with a minute to play in the extra session. The Blazers down by 3. And here he comes. It is once again Damian Lillard working around the defense and knocking it down.
And one thing, even in watching this game, is he was moving the ball. This wasn't just him catching and shooting it every time. He was just hitting the shots that were needed by his team.
Final seconds here. Jordan Poole, no good. Lillard would grab the rebound.
He knew what he was doing. Get those 2 extra free throws.
That's exactly right. They're going to win the game, but he can set the franchise record if he makes them both, and that he does. That is 61 points for Dame Lillard last night as the Blazers hold off the Warriors in overtime, 129-124. Meanwhile, Lakers on the road in Boston. LeBron began the day in Springfield, Mass, watching his son Bronny and Sierra Canyon playing a high school game, and then playing the game last night in Boston. Anthony Davis back against Kemba Walker and company.
Yeah, Anthony Davis was back. He struggled tonight. Like, obviously, you know what he's capable of doing, but they got out to an AO start. Next thing you know, the score was like 16-16. So they got out to a quick start, but that was pretty much the end of the night for the Lakers.
Right, AD would score just 9 on the night. And look at a crazy play here. Kemba Walker, who, by the way, little fact, has never beaten LeBron in his career.
That's not a little fact.
0-28.
That's a big fact.
It is a big fact.
That is a very big fact. So Kemba was happy to get that little monkey off his back.
In 28 meetings, second quarter, Celtics, by 6, and it's Marcus Smart. Look at the pass.
Look, this was just one of those nights. It was the Celtic night. This was an around-the-back pass, and look, good for you, Marcus Smart.
Celtics up by 8 and just continuing to pull away. Here we go the other way. Jason Tatum throwing it down. Celtics a 14-point halftime lead. Now, I want you to see this moment here. Third quarter. Celtics are up 16, and Jaylen Brown is going to get a technical for taunting for dunking on LeBron.
Well, he should get a technical. You can't just dunk on Prince James like that. You can't do that. Don't you know who that is? You went to his basketball camp. You wore his T-shirt. You can't treat him like that.
Look at Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge doesn't even seem to be aware this is going on.
Danny Ainge is like, we could have used you a couple of years ago with the big 3.
Celtics up 25, and then it's more from Kemba. He had 20 points, and he beats LeBron James for the first time in his career. Celtics win big. Lakers, tough night.
I mean, listen, it was just a good old-fashioned butt whooping. That's all. That's all. They beat us on all facets of the game, from the outside, the interior. Points off turnovers and offensive rebounds was the main ingredients to this L.
I'm happy I got 1 at least, before he goes. But yeah, I mean, it's only 1 in 28. That's it.
Thank you, Kevin.
The latest.
I'm on a new team, so I'm 1-0.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the streak is 1 for his last one against LeBron. According to Elias, by the way, that 0-28 was the second worst head-to-head mark any player ever had against any other.
And they're in the same conference. So they're playing each other 3 or 4 times on a given year.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Lakers, though. Some games just do feel like they stand out a little bit. You're going to Boston. That feels like kind of a big game based on the history of the rivalry. They're 2 good teams. It's a special day yesterday. What do you make of the Lakers just laying an egg?
This was a refocus game to me for the Lakers, right? LeBron James, as he should. You get an opportunity to see your son play, yes. You should go see every opportunity you can to see your son play, yes. right? Anthony Davis is just now coming back, so this is his first game back after a couple of games off. But it just looked like they just needed to refocus, right? If you're playing in the postseason, I would not recommend LeBron James going and seeing his kid and throwing off his rhythm. Ultimately, my point is this is just one game. I think the Lakers look is like, okay, we're probably the best team in the league. We're a top 3 team. We have a chance to win a championship. We just need to refocus because teams will be coming after us with their best shot.
And teams are coming after Boston. The Celtics had lost 3 in a row and 6 of their last 8 before a 32-point win last night. What should we make of that? I continue to buy into this team.
Well, I buy into Boston. The one issue that I have with Boston is in order for them to beat a Milwaukee, they're going to need to play like this in a 7-game series, right? They're not going to be able to have 2 guys just play okay and 2 guys play well. They need to be hitting on all cylinders, and that's very hard to do for any team. I think that's hard to do for the Lakers. I think that's hard to do for the Clippers. So in order for them to actually get to the finals or even really compete against Milwaukee, they need to be playing that style of basketball.
Well, you saw the pop from Hembo there. According to our analytics, they have the second best chance of any team to come out of the East behind only Milwaukee, and I buy it. I do. I think if there is a real threat to the Greek Freak in the conference, it is the Celtics.
Yeah, and you look at, I'm not like the way Philly is playing, Joel Embiid with his health, I know it's just a finger, but ultimately they're not playing great basketball right now. They're actually sliding down in the standings, and Boston is a team that's just playing very, very consistent right now, mind you, before these last few games.
Yeah, no, look, they got the bad stretch, but that feels to me like the team that if and when they put it together, they are the team that could make a run. All right, RJ's here all morning long. Meanwhile, Laura, the
Lakers on the road in Boston. LeBron James in Springfield, Massachusetts earlier in the day watching Sierra Canyon and his son Bronny play. Then back in Boston before the game with the powder toss and his teammates having some fun with it. And Kemba Walker 0 for 28 against LeBron. First quarter, Daniel Tice inside finishes on the inbounds. Jaylen Brown with the steal. Can't get it to go. LeBron tips it to Kemba, and Kemba tips it in. Oh, well. Foreshadowing of things to come. Wild play. Celtics up 3 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, the C's lead by 6. LeBron guarding Marcus Smart drives, and watch this pass to Enes Kanter. I mean, this is a real good look right here. That's
really good.
That's really good. Celtics up 42-34 at that point. Later, Kemba layup. No, but Kanter put back 18 points, 8 boards off the bench in the first half. Sees up 14 at the break. Third quarter, the lead is now 16. Brown driving over LeBron. Oh, Jaylen. Oh, the bench loves it. Here is Brown on what he just did to the King.
Just being aggressive and just made a play at the rim. I ain't gonna lie though, it was pretty nice. It was pretty awesome.
You have it on a bucket list for today?
I ain't gonna lie,
yeah, exactly. Later, Jason Tatum. 3 up, 3 down, game high 27. His 23rd game this season with at least 20 points. A little later, Celtics up 25. Kemba fakes floater. He had 20.7 assists. He finally beats LeBron. C's win 139-107.
He's beating a lot of people. I bet you not a lot of guys that have a winning record against LeBron James. But I mean, of course, you know, I'm happy I got 1 at least. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's only 1. 1 in 28. You know, that's it. I'm on a new team, so I'm 1-0.
It was just a good old-fashioned bubble, and that's all. That's all. They beat us on all facets of the game, from the outside, the interior, points off turnovers, and offensive rebounds was the main ingredients of this L.
This was the Lakers' worst loss of the year by any measure. Their 139 points allowed were the most they've allowed in a game this season. Their field goal percentage defense and three-point defense were also season lows. And if it could have been worse, it would have been worse if the Celtics didn't miss 10 free throws, tied for their second most this season. As for LeBron and his very busy day, here's Dave McMenamin.
It's the Lakers, 139-107. They're on the short end. They had the 107. Let's retreat it. Lakers have been one of the league's best defensive teams this season. Celtics lit them up $139, the most LA has allowed this season. Boston dominated in transition, outscoring the Lakers 27-9. Jaylen Brown scored or assisted on 12 of those 27 by himself. Lakers, they're now just 1-5 this season when scoring under 10 transition points. Celtics also had the 3-ball working, shot 47% from distance, their best mark in a game this season in which they attempted at least 30 threes. Boston went 8 for 11 on uncontested threes, making more of those than the Lakers made total threes in this game. Let's head out to Boston. That's where Dave McMenamin is. Dave, the Lakers don't lose often, and they don't lose by a lot often, and they don't lose by a lot often when LeBron James is on the court. They lost by a lot with LeBron James on the court. How'd they handle the beatdown?
Neil, they were kind of licking their wounds in the locker room after this one. Kyle Kuzma said they were weird from an energy standpoint all night. Frank Vogel said he challenged the team to bring it at halftime when they're already trailing, and they really weren't able to find any extra reserve. Rajon Rondo said it was ugly, and LeBron said, you know, it was a good old-fashioned butt whooping. And you look at the numbers, it was really tough. They're outscored by 14 in transition, outscored by 10 on second chance points, outscored by 10 in points in the paint, and the Celtics shot way better from the three-point line. So you add it all up, and that's what a 30-point loss looks in the NBA.
Well, feeling good might come Wednesday. They play the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Dave McMenamin from Boston.
Before the game against the Celtics, LeBron James at the Hoop Hall Classic in